It's time for Facts or Facts. Here in the U.S., we have some of the safest drinking water in the world, but it is far from perfect. According to a study from Harvard, our water can contain anything from lead to arsenic to PFAS, or those forever chemicals.
And consuming these germs and chemicals can actually make you sick. The CDC estimates at least 1.1 million Americans here in this country get sick every year from the germs in our drinking water. That's 1 out of every 300 Americans.
That's wild. I did not know that. So I guess the question is, how can we best protect ourselves from these germs? You got bottled water. That's an option, but it's not necessarily environmentally friendly.
No, but luckily there are other filtering options that could keep your water clean. Founder of FloWater, Rich Razgaitis, joins us now in the studio. Thanks for joining us. You go by Raz, so good to see you, Raz.
Thank you.
Let's start by taking a look at America's water system. Where are these germs and bacteria coming from, and can they be prevented?
Well, the germs and bacteria often are coming just as a result of age and infrastructure. So in the United States, we have infrastructure that's 50, 70, 80 years old. Micro fissures, cracks end up in the infrastructure, and that's where bacteria and germs can enter. But even beyond the germs and the bacteria, the bigger issue, I believe, are the chemicals that are in use throughout the United States. There's about 50,000 chemicals in use in the United States today. Fewer than 100 of those are regulated by the Safe Drinking Water Act. So the reality is, even if the 100, actually 94 to be exact, are in spec, you've got tens of other chemicals, tens of thousands of other chemicals that have been in use by manufacturing, agriculture, pharmaceuticals. They make their way into our drinking water. So literally today, when you drink a bottle of water or a glass of water out of the tap, you're drinking a chemical cocktail of things that have contaminants like lead, pharmaceuticals, herbicides, pesticides, as well as other heavy metals. So that's a problem that we have to solve in the United States in a big way.
Well, I mentioned that we've got some of the best drinking water globally, but is that not true now? Because we have so many more chemicals, it seems like.
Well, it's a great question, and I think anymore it's a little bit like trying to answer that question by saying which is the best cigarette or what's the safest cigarette. And so because in different countries and different municipalities have different issues, but because we have such a chemical contamination of so many thousands of chemicals that have been in use, coupled with really old infrastructure, coupled with aging pipes, it's a problem that we have to solve. And so, you know, in my opinion and many others, is that you should not be drinking unfiltered or unpurified water straight from the tap anymore.
Right.
So no longer just grabbing the hose as your kid.
I know, we used to do that all the time.
Let's focus on the PFAS. Can you explain what these forever chemicals are and what do they do to our bodies?
Well, a lot of these PFAS chemicals that are known as forever chemicals, as you stated, are used in things that are like fabric, water repellent fabrics, for example, or jackets. And what ends up happening in these chemicals, they end up getting into oceans, lakes, rivers, tributaries. They make our way into the water system. And then they enter that through us either eating or drinking them. And that's known as a forever chemical because, like lead, once it's in you, it's in there forever. It's a chemical that's almost impossible to destroy, and it's nearly impossible to get out of your body. And so the best way to solve that is to just keep those from entering yourself in the first place, right? And that's why we have to watch what we protect our food system as well as protect our water system.
So if you're going to go and try and change how this water is looked at, right, and monitored, who do you go to? Is it federal? Is it municipalities? Is it city? Who's cleaning our water?
Well, we've got a lot of municipality water across the United States today. The best thing that you can do as a consumer is to go to ewg.org, and they have a tap water database, and you can type in your zip code in that tap water database, and it'll list out for you a portion. It's just a portion of the chemicals that comprise the water literally in your backyard. And that'll just give you an indication of what is in your drinking water.
I don't want to see that.
But, yeah, well, or you should just assume that you have a chemical cocktail in your drinking water, and then we've got to be able to treat that with filtration or purification. The way to solve it really is through regulatory reform, policy, and then we need to invest in new infrastructure, and that infrastructure means upgrading the water municipal treatment plants so that they can deal with today's problems. The other piece of that is upgrading infrastructure, because if we've got 50-year-old infrastructure that's pushing this water to us, there's contaminants there. But the last thing is we got to just treat our water at the source where it's coming out today as consumers, business owners, school people, et cetera.
We have about 30 seconds left. So how can we protect ourselves from getting these chemicals into our house and into our bodies?
Well, the best thing to do is get a filtration system or purification system. So it kind of going from better to best. Carbon filtration is good. Ultrafiltration, nanofiltration is better. The best that you could possibly do is to use a form of technology called reverse osmosis. It goes under your sink, goes on the countertop. We put these into businesses throughout the United States. That is the thing that purifies down to 0.0001 microns. What that means is it basically strips all of the bad stuff out of your water and you're left with pure H2O.
All right, well, there you have it. We got to filter it somehow. Raz, founder of FloWater, thank you for the intel. Good stuff. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that Bobby Boucher will be doing some
Yes, he
reverse.
will. He's the water expert, isn't he?